Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are watching Dark. This is the third episode of the second season. Yes, my third episode of the day. I'm excited to see what we have in store for us. And if you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free. The link in the description below. Just click in it, put the password in, and enjoy. So the first episode, obviously, we had the future jump. Basically, Jonas going into the future after the ending of season 1. And we obviously seen that it's an apocalypse. And then last episode, we had more information revealed to us. And obviously, we've had the introduction of somebody called Adam this season. Like we had the mysterious Noah in season 1. Now, Noah's been used a little bit more this season, and we did see him having a conversation with Mikkel, but also we've obviously had him have a conversation with Adam, and it's interesting because Claudia's actually gone back in time to speak to her younger self and basically said the apocalypse is going to happen in 5 days' time. With the information that I'm about to give you now, I need you to go back and you need to stop it. Do you know what I mean? We've had Jonas as well, obviously, in the future, go back and find components and build his machine. And basically, you know, he's created his little portal again and he's walked inside of it. And he was obviously a new girl, one of the people from the future, the person that knocked him out in the end of season 1. Who actually witnessed him go inside of this portal before it went boom, back up and floated into the sky. So, I mean, which timeline has he gone to? I have no idea. What I do know is, obviously, Jonas that's actually gone into 2020 is the future Jonas who's gone back in time to speak to his mum. He's then got his mum and shown her that you could actually go back in time and he is a time traveller. And he actually went back 33 years and shown her, her husband, obviously Michael, Mikkel, sat there speaking with... Is she called Ines or something? You know, like the nurse. Basically, obviously, he was proving that time traveling does exist. And then we had, obviously, Officer Tiedemann talking to Ulrich back in 86, which is interesting because, obviously, he arrested him back in 53. Now he's obviously speaking to him in 86. He said the same thing that he said to him back then, Ulrich. And, obviously, he's still trying to figure it out. He's not sorted it out yet. But again, like I said, interestingly, timelines the same. Hannah and Ulrika are now in 86, the same timeline. But I don't think she's going to be there as long as him. I feel like obviously she's going to jump back into the present or whatever you would like to call it. I actually have no idea which one you would call the present anymore. We're literally all over the place. It's exciting and I can't wait for it. Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you do enjoy it, please smash a like. It really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, let's jump into today's episode.
Ich habe gesehen, wie du aufwächst, wie du zum Mann wirst. Den ganzen Kreislauf deines Lebens. Vergiss nicht, dass wir jetzt auch dein Zuhause sind. Dir wird kein Leid geschehen. Egal, wohin du gehst. Sie sieht und hört alles, was du tust oder sprichst. Tick, tack.
Oh, here we go. You know, I was interested to see this actually. This is his wife, isn't it? Back in the day. The officers. She's having sex with that woman though, 100%.
Bin ich schon los?
Ich habe das Milchgeld vergessen.
Kauf dir einen Drops dafür.
Danke.
Meinst du, sie hat was gemerkt? Mach dir keine Sorgen. Jede Familie hat ihre Geheimnisse. Helge? Wir wissen, dass ihr uns hört, worum wir auch bitten. So wissen wir, dass wir erhalten, was wir bieten.
See, his mum, yeah, was like, would you say mean to him? She was bossy. She was really bossy and grumpy. But, like, you know, every parent, well, not, I wouldn't say every parent in the world, but, like, 99% of parents hardcore love the kids, innit? It's just like everybody has a way of discipline and how they obviously enforce kind of like the rules, but like at the end of the day, something happens to the kid, they all melt. You know what I mean? We all would melt. So it's interesting, but got to remember 1954, 4 days or 3 days for the apocalypse, 5 days was it? I just said got to remember, totally forgot when I said it, but the apocalypse is happening here apparently in 54. But we know that it doesn't happen because in 2019, the world's still normal and the plant is still there working and it's still active and it was closing down in 2020. So they must succeed. Helge Tiedemann, Claudia, sorry, must succeed here with the stuff that she's doing. She prevents the apocalypse, but then does she prevent the apocalypse? Because in the timeline that Jonas is in, the apocalypse has happened. So like, again, what happens, it's the 33-year cycle. Maybe in this timeline, it's prevented. In the 2020 timeline or whatever, it's not. Something happens, it goes wrong, it's a mistake. Do you know what I mean? And he's got to go back and he's got to fix it. That's what I'm thinking.
Sucht niemand nach ihm. Da fragt man sich doch, wie manche Menschen so leben.
Deine Frau und du, was habt ihr noch?
Viel? Ich dachte, so welche wie du werden gar nicht mehr gebacken. Muss mal ordentlich Dampf ablassen. Die Ehe ist nicht so, wie es uns verkauft wird. Aber da draußen noch jede Menge zarte Knospen zu pflücken.
Man hat ihn gefunden.
Wen gefunden?
Den Dopplerjungen.
Warum redest du eigentlich nie darüber, wie es da war, wo ihr herkommt, bevor ihr nach Winden gekommen seid?
Meine Mutter war oft traurig. Ich war lange in einem Heim. Redet nicht gern darüber. Also mache ich es auch nicht.
Meinst du, sie ist glücklich hier? Zeigst du es mir jetzt?
In the middle of nowhere, that though, wasn't it? You think you'd have your back against the wall or something, wouldn't you?
Gespenster. Vielleicht willst du heute mal schwänzen und wir machen was Schönes.
Ich schreibe heute Deutsch und nachher wollte ich noch zum See.
Mir gefällt, wie du dein Haar jetzt trägst. Macht dich irgendwie so erwachsen.
You'd be confused if your mum changed kind of like a personality, do you know what I mean? Because you get used to everybody and how they act. So like, if they started showing you more affection, you'd just be like, well, what's happening, man? Ah, right, it's from Helge, that, yeah. He did give it a... Do you reckon that's a hint? Do you actually reckon that's a hint to him? That, like, you know, he's seen him as a young self. Well, technically, he is in that, innit? Do you reckon it's trying to be like a code to explain who he technically is? You know what I mean? Because he knows who... Actually, no, actually. Because if he was in this timeline and he dropped in that name to him... And then obviously now he's looking at it and it's in the song, then maybe it's a reference that obviously like he is kind of from the future. I'm just trying to figure out because he knows technically who he is as a young boy, you know what I mean? He has it in for him. He went to his house the other day, didn't it? And one of the episodes and he was blasting the music. Him and Ulrich have never actually ever got on. But he's met both versions of Ulrich. Well, kind of three versions. He's met like the one in when he was younger, you know what I mean? When he was getting accused of raping. Then he's met, obviously, himself in this timeline, where he thinks that he killed Helge when he didn't. He's actually found out he's alive. And now he's met him again in the same timeline. It looks like that he met his younger self, but his older self's there, but he's in a home and he's just said that thing. So, mate, it's actually pretty interesting what they're doing with it.
Ich würde Helge gerne ein paar Fragen stellen.
Hat noch kein einziges Wort gesprochen.
Erinnerst du dich? Ich bin Claudias Vater. Möchtest du mir nicht sagen, wo du all die Zeit gewesen bist?
Der Herr Kommissar hat dich etwas gefragt.
Das klingt jetzt vielleicht eigenartig, aber letztes Jahr dieses Buch. Warum hast du mir das geschenkt?
Er hat gesagt, es ist ein Kampf zwischen Gut und Böse, zwischen Licht und Schatten, dass die Reisenden alles ungeschehen machen können. Du darfst ihm nicht vertrauen. Niemals, hörst du? Niemals!
Helge!
The TikTok stresses me out. It just does, man. Like, it annoys me how he says it. He even says it in when he's older as well. He's always saying it. I've totally forgotten the name of this woman. It's Claudia? No way.
Noah ist auch zurück.
Ich habe keine Angst mehr vor ihm. Vom Blut freimachen heißt sich freimachen.
Trotzdem prägt uns unsere Familie unser Leben lang. Mein Bruder ist ein blinder Narr. All das Leid, das er den Menschen bringt. Aber es wird ein Ende haben. Ich wollte dir danken. Meine Mutter liebt dich, weißt du das? Sie wird dich sehr glücklich machen, wenn du sie lässt.
She wants her to give her something in the future, which is interesting, honestly. Has she got two different colour eyes? No, I've never noticed that.
Sie haben dieses Buch geschrieben.
Ich habe mich gefragt, wann es soweit ist. Wann wir uns wiedersehen. Ewiger Kreislauf.
I reckon it's because obviously Jonas has come before. You know what? I've never noticed, yeah, that she's got two different colour eyes. Honestly, I've only ever kind of seen that once on Instagram, I think it was, where someone had a blue and a brown eye, and obviously she's got it there. Once he pointed it out, I seen it. It's like, oh yeah, that's decent. That I've never really like noticed it before. But I thought that she called herself Claudia, that younger one in that timeline, just them in the bunker. But it can't be, can it? You know, Claudia is the one who's obviously coming to see obviously the guy who created the time machine. Claudia is obviously the older person as well that's come and spoken to the woman in the bunker. I'm sure the woman in the bunker, the one that this lady here had a kiss with a minute ago, obviously Egon's wife, who was making out with the woman who's come to stay in a house, the one that's just met obviously Claudia. I'm sure that's one of the Nielsen's, you know, like an extension, one of the family members of it, but he's give her something to give to somebody in the future. Again, it's interesting. There's so many pieces to the puzzle, it's all over the place. You got to literally remember everybody's name. I wouldn't say it's confusing, like, I would say like 90% of the people, I clock who they are and I can follow it. But the other like 10%, I'm like, oh, who's that again? Oh yeah, what timeline they on? Do you know what I mean? I just have to get my mind ticking all the time.
Ich möchte wissen, was das alles bedeutet. Diese Worte haben Sie 1953 zu mir gesagt. Das hier wurde aber erst letztes Jahr veröffentlicht. Sie haben gesagt, Sie haben selber einen Sohn. Warum haben Sie die Kinder ermordet?
Ich habe die Kinder nicht ermordet.
Sie haben gesagt, ich werde sterben. Woher wissen Sie, dass ich Krebs habe? Der weiße Teufel. Wissen Sie, wer das ist? Warum haben Sie uns nie gesagt, wie Sie heißen? Wer Sie sind?
Ulrich. Ulrich Nielsen.
Haben Sie schon mal vom Bootstrap-Paradox gehört? Wird ein Gegenstand oder eine Information aus der Zukunft in die Vergangenheit geschickt. Dadurch entsteht ein unendlicher Kreislauf, in welchem der Gegenstand keinen wirklichen Ursprung mehr hat. Wo ist der Anfang? Wann ist der Anfang? Gibt es überhaupt einen Anfang? Die Welt ist voll von solchen Paradoxen.
Hallo? Mein Name ist Tiedemann. Gibt da ein paar Dinge, die ich Sie gerne fragen würde. Ich will wissen, wo Helge gewesen ist. Ob Sie einen Komplizen haben.
Das sind die Medikamente. Den hier müssen wir ruhig stellen.
Hat er inzwischen seinen Namen gesagt?
Nicht, dass ich wüsste.
Er ist Ulrich Nielsen. Wollen Sie mir nicht langsam sagen, warum Sie wirklich hier sind? Er hat mir gesagt, dass Sie eines Tages hier erscheinen würden und dass ich Ihnen den Apparat erklären soll. Ihr zukünftiges Ich. Sie hat gewusst, dass Sie hier erscheinen werden, damit ich Ihnen und damit ihr den Apparat erklären kann.
That is true though. Like the paradoxes that we all kind of can't like live with now and pretty much just accept even though we don't know is what did come first, the chicken or the egg? It's the greatest example of it. It's the most simplistic terms that you can put to it, and you can ask a kid or anything and they would kind of understand the question, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be too scientific, and it's literally, who come first, the egg or the chicken? Well, to become a chicken you have to be an egg. Alright, sound, that makes sense, great stuff. But then how did the egg get laid if there was no chicken to lay it? And that is what he's saying there. There's information that's come from the future back into the past, and then it becomes ever present. It's not been created in no timeline because we don't have no answers to it. We just need it. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's interesting what he's saying. It makes sense, and he's been through this before. He knows it. You know, he's had Jonas there. He's explained it to him. So like, he wasn't confused when her future self Claudia come to talk to him about it. He already knew. He's not going to be surprised. He can sit down. He can explain it. But again, Ulrich now has explained he is called Ulrich to Egon, like obviously in 86 when he tried to do it again to him in 53, but he was sedated enough that he didn't manage to get it out in time before he left the room, which again I was saying, unless he's physically going around and attacking everybody and trying to kill all the guards, I don't understand why you've been medicating and sedating him so much.
Als ob innen ganz leer wäre, nur noch eine Hülle. Er war nie das hellste Kind, aber jetzt könnte man fast glauben, wäre stumpfsinnig. Vielleicht ist der Leibhaftige in ihn gefahren.
He knows who Nora is.
Die Zeit ist immer mit dir. Egal wohin du gehst, sie sieht und hört alles, was du tust oder sprichst. Ich möchte, dass du etwas für mich liest.
Du bist mein Schutz, mein Schild. Ich hoffe auf dein Wort.
Geben Sie ihm ein bisschen Zeit. Ich bin mir sicher, er wählt seine Worte nur mit Bedacht. Er ist zurückgekehrt. In Ihren Schoß. Er ist ein Wunder.
Ich versuche einfach, einige Lücken in ein paar alten Akten zu schließen.
Michael schläft gerade.
Hat dir mal was über seine Eltern gesagt?
Michael will das alles zurücklassen.
Namen Ulrich hat er dir gegenüber auch nicht erwähnt? Über einen weißen Teufel gesprochen. Vielleicht kann ich morgen mit ihm reden. Wenn dir noch was einfällt, ruf mich einfach an.
Ich schlafe in letzter Zeit wieder schlecht.
Hättest du vielleicht ein Foto von dem Jungen? Nur für die Akten.
Sure it is. Yo, she better not be pilling him up. I don't know. She does seem to love him, to be fair, though.
Hat Claudia dich geschickt? Wenn du glaubst, Adam lässt dich zurück, dann irrst du dich. Du hast deine Seite gewählt.
Ich weiß, wo die letzten Seiten sind. Und ich weiß, wie lange Adam danach gesucht hat.
Ich hätte dir niemals gesagt, wo sie sind.
Claudia hat sie bei sich. Im Gegenzug will ich, dass du Adam sagst, dass ich zurück will. Du kannst deine eigene Schwester nicht so hassen, wie du sie hast.
Well, them two, Ulrich's family. That's hard to follow, isn't it? So he's called Noah Ulrichsen and Nielsen. Oh God, there's so many names.
Da ist jemand, der sie sehen möchte.
Ja, bitte.
A woman. It's her again.
Kann ich Ihnen helfen? Ein braunes und ein blaues Auge. Wie meine Tochter.
Die Welt hat dich nicht verdient.
Kennen wir uns?
Ich bin hier, weil ich dir etwas sagen muss. Es tut mir leid.
Ich verstehe nicht.
Das wirst du eines Tages. Und dann will ich, dass du weißt, dass die Dinge so gekommen sind, wie sie gekommen sind.
Why is she sorry though to her dad though? What has she technically done to him? I don't seem like anything that she's done's really impacted him.
Was machst du denn hier? Warum hast du mich vorher angerufen? Warum machst du nicht einen Termin mit meiner Sekretärin aus, der uns beiden passt?
Ich habe Krebs. Prostata. Es ist besser, wenn du das weißt.
Ich weiß gar nicht, was ich sagen soll.
See, look, he's probably getting a hug the same way she gave her kid a hug, and like they both kind of like confused because of obviously the way they used to. Do you know what I mean? It's not the norm.
Du bist wieder da.
Hallo, Prinzessin Naseweiß.
Du bist ein so guter Mensch, Papa. Die Welt hat dich nicht verdient.
She's just literally said that to her.
Ich habe früher immer gedacht, das Schlimmste, was einem im Leben passieren kann, ist das eigene Kind zu verlieren. Da ist ein Junge nach Winden gekommen. Unbekannt. Der hat damals etwas Eigenartiges zu mir gesagt.
Er ist hier.
Du hast es gewusst, dass er hier ist. Du hast es die ganze Zeit gewusst.
That was kind of poor reaction from Ulrich, that, innit? See, that there was poor from Ulrich. Now he's probably not going to get another conversation with him. Now he's probably not going to get additional information. Do you know what I mean? Now he's probably not even going to find out where Michael is actually being held. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's gone straight in for the juggler and just gone in for him when he should have actually said, yeah, that is actually my son. Do you know what I mean? And then he could have engaged further in the conversations. Like, okay, at first, Egon, yeah, didn't believe him back when he first arrived. And he might not have believed him 3-4 days ago, but the more he's looking into it, the more he's trying to figure it out, the more he's kind of like adapting and coming to maybe the conclusion that he is actually telling the truth and he may potentially be from the future and this kid could potentially be his. And instead of him acting like rash like that, he should have sat down and just engaged in a proper convo with him. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I understand that Ulrich wants to see his son, but like, I don't know, I thought that he would have cried and all that and said, yeah, this is my kid and blah, 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 where is he? Not like, I don't know, I just think that the reaction that he done didn't help him in the situation advancing further in actually going to see and finding Michael at all.
Braucht noch 33 Jahre, bis es soweit ist.
Dieses Ding, der Bauplan, ich verstehe nicht ganz, was es ist.
Unser Leben lang fragen wir uns, wohin unsere Reise geht. Das hier ist Ihre. Sie können es behalten, ich brauche es nicht mehr.
Warum geben Sie mir das?
Ich werde bald tot sein. Sie werden mir dann den Apparat erklären müssen.
Aber ich weiß nicht, wozu er da ist. Warum sagen Sie mir nicht, wozu er da ist?
Weil Sie mir gesagt haben, dass es Ihnen jemand anderes erklärt hat. Die Dinge gehen ihren Weg, so wie sie es immer getan haben. Muss alles so bleiben, wie es immer war.
Yeah, well, it must stay as it always been.
Bitte.
What timeline is she going? Where's she travelling to? Her? Do you know what I mean? Like, what information is she trying to acquire or do or prevent? I don't know.
Du kannst dir vertrauen. Sie hat nicht mal mit der Wimper gezuckt.
Ich weiß, dass ich sterben werde. Aber werde ich diese Partie verlieren? Oder ist das hier, unser Treffen, du und deine Waffe, nur ein Teil eines Spiels, von dem du immer noch nicht weißt, wie man es spielt?
Du glaubst, du kannst mich mit deinen Worten manipulieren.
Gonna shoot her, but she knew that was gonna happen though. I think she knew it anyway, you know what I mean? That's why she was getting everything planned and done and put in the way and all sorted out. No, it's just a news story. She was killed. See, if she's smart, she would have left bait all over herself to confuse him. Do you know what I mean? Are these the real pages? This is normal now, isn't it? Bartos thing.
Können unseren Familien noch so fremd sein, ihr Handeln nicht verstehen. Am Ende würden wir doch alles für sie tun. Hatte sie die Seiten dabei.
Oh, I wonder why he's lying.
Am Ende bekommen wir alle, was wir verdient haben.
Why was she focusing in on her again? Well, to be fair, it's her again, like in the whole story. It's like the whole season's around her, isn't it? It's really interesting. And obviously, if you look at Noah there, I feel like he did actually attain information that he needed to give to Adam, but he's held it back, and he's saying that he's been in this loop before where he's come and he's spoken to her and she maybe manipulated him or got him with the words that she's been saying and it's confused him and stuff like that. But like lots of stuff has kind of been going on here. Do you know what I mean? Like, Van Egon go and speak to obviously you know, Mikkel's new mum and that, and like he said that she's sleeping and he's found sleeping tablets and she said it was hers, even though technically the insinuation that he was kind of trying to say to us is that she gave it him to sleep, but I don't know if that's true or not. He gathered a picture, he's shown it to Ulrich, you know, he's got a bit crazy, he's made himself look crazy, to be honest. Like I said, I don't think it helped his situation. So like in the future, or like from that timeline of him figuring out obviously Sonny's in there with him in that same loop, then you know, what is it like? He didn't help himself in trying to get back to him in terms of acting like this, because they're probably going to lock him up and he's probably going to be in there for a while now, and it's probably going to drive him a bit more crazy knowing that he's here and his son's possibly out there and he can't actually see him. Before he's always hoped, but now he actually knows. And he just reacted the wrong way, in my opinion, in terms of that situation. And it was also interesting to see how the people was reacting around. So like obviously Claudia hugged the kid and she was like, you know, acting a bit like, what's going on here, because that doesn't usually happen. And then obviously Egon's come and she told her he's got cancer and she's hugged him and he was like, that doesn't usually happen. And then it looks like she's timeline jumped, to be honest, and she's gone into the future obviously like to see stuff, and she's seen, I think that's not her on the balcony. Her is the older woman. The one that's actually on the balcony is a daughter. So, like, the girl, obviously, that's going to school and stuff, they said she'd spend a day together, that's her. The one that's obviously married, the Tiedemann, to the guys in the power plant. And do you know what I mean? It's interesting that she's jumped into the future. People have been jumping into the past and the present and stuff like that as well. So, we didn't really see Noah and where he went. I mean, what's he called now? Let's say Jonas and where he went. We've seen him go into the dome last episode and disappear, but we actually didn't see where he even come out to. There wasn't even like one reference of him in today's episode, which is interesting because it excites me for the next one. Okay, that is going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So it's interesting here because obviously if you're just looking there, yeah, we've had Egon, you know, his daughter's actually come and spoken to him from the future, and she gave him a line, a quote, a reference or whatever's. Never expressed who she was, but then obviously she'd left his office and then he's gone home and he's taken some flowers and basically spoken to his daughter, you know, the younger version, who then obviously ended up quoting the same things, and you know, it's got him thinking. It has, you know, he's like, what's actually going on? And you know, I'm surprised actually like this has actually happened, because if this did happen to him in 1953, you know what I mean, like, it is suspicious, you know, weird activity, you would call it. And like, you know, he's still in 1986, I don't know, speaking to Ulrich and stuff like we've seen in today's episode, and it's like, you would have thought he would have tried to investigate it or look into it or a bit deeper into it, you know, a little bit more with all this like weird stuff kind of going on. And you know, you've got the Nielsen's that's obviously staying at his house, and her kid, is that Tronte? Is that who it is? Because his kid is Claudia, you know what I mean? And did them two not get together? Like, basically, Tronte and Claudia. Oh wait, yeah, is that's Ulrich's mum and dad, is it not? You know what I mean? So trying to keep up with everybody and the names and the storylines and the connections, mad, because we literally do have 3 versions of each of the characters. And you know, you've seen it in today's episode. He's returned home, hasn't Helge, and he never really actually spoken to his mum or anything, and the police come to question him and nothing. But then when you had Noah come and he sat down and he spoken to him and he gave him a passage and he read it, you know, he seemed like he was hugging him, he was happy to him. He said about basically, you know, time, it's all there, it's always with us, and etc. And you know, in that timeline he's loving it, and like he was kind of captured, tied up, put in a chair, machine around him last episode. In today's episode, the aftermath or the extension, the next phase of that, he's like hugging him and that. And it's interesting again to learn that, you know, he's gone from that position there to going all the way into the 86 version of when he was talking to Claudia, and he was basically saying, when you speak to Noah, don't trust anything that he ever says. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that was interesting that was revealed to us is obviously that Noah is in the Nielsen, which again is very interesting. You know, he's part of their family. His sister, the one, like I said, who dates Tronte. No, sorry, whose kid, obviously. Is she called Agnes or something? Angus is Noah's sister. And, like, he's obviously related to them. And then I'm thinking that the families that are on the boards there have got some sort of connection with each other as well. And, like, they're the main thing that's kind of going on. And I don't really know who Adam is, and these founding members as well. You know, we got the 1921 picture, and it was all kind of there, and I feel like all of them are the people that's kind of started the cycle of the 33 years that continuously moves and changes and goes on, and they're all committed to it. You know, not really too sure technically, like hardcore. It's just me kind of projecting and just getting like stuff out there, maybe what it is. But you think about it as well, yeah, like she left this Agnes, the family, the clique, the whatever it was with Adam, and the pages are missing, and he still needs them, but I don't even know what pages they are and what they're actually for, and if he gets them, what he succeeds. And if you look at, I think she did give them to Noah, and she might have lied and given him something else, but then he's gone obviously and he's gone and killed Claudia, but then he's obviously opened her outfit and seen that these letters, or maybe the pages that he needed, and he was saying, what did he say? Oh, he said the police officer, Charlotte, no, whatever, he's referencing to that. But then he's gone back and spoken to Adam, and he asked if the pages are there, and he said no, and he's like, well, everything's going to end up being how it should have been in the first place. It's like, mate, literally loads of stuff's going on. It really, really is. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.